Hello, Shashidhar.
Didi, you may have to share the slides, okay? I'm not able to do that.
Okay.
Can the people be admitted automatically?
I'll just make
No.
it automatic now. Yeah.
We will start in another few minutes.
Hi, Niyogita.
I don't know the name of the person in the Shunya space.
Yeah,
Hi, Prof. This is me, Priya. Just switching on the video.
Who?
Priya.
Oh, okay. Oh, Priya.
Balaji, good evening. Sorry, my mic was off. I couldn't.
Good evening.
Good
So,
morning for you, I think.
uh,
Yes, it is.
thanks, Niyogita. You were able to join with the same email, right?
No, I actually did register again. Like I put the mail ID and then I joined. With the
Yeah.
phone number, I couldn't.
Okay.
The mail ID, no issues.
Sure.
Hey, Priya, was that your picture on the Shunya space, DB? I couldn't recognize your picture.
You haven't changed though, Prof.
Why should, yeah, people
Just a
around me
second.
do.
There's a problem with my video, but I hope I'm audible and I'm able to listen to.
Yeah,
Just
the
get that.
volume from your end is low for me.
Okay. I'll just get that set in a while.
Given that you're so talk, very difficult to hear you if it
You
is
just
low.
now said I've changed.
So this webinar is becoming a Balaji CIP fan club. Just give me a minute, I'll get my cup of coffee. Oh, it's quite cold here, 11 degrees. Ah, there you are.
Yes. Hi, Prof.
Hi,
So nice.
Priya.
Hi, Nidhi. Hi, Niyogita, Lata, Shashidhar. My name is Priya.
Oh,
I'll just name myself.
yeah, that's okay.
Sure.
How's Aurangabad?
Good, Prof. You should come to visit
For what?
to see me. What
I have
else?
better
You
things
need
to
any
do
other
in life.
motive?
That
We haven't met in
would
like
be.
what? More than 20 years now.
Oh, you invite all of us.
Please do come.
Oh my God.
So that
To the Shunya space.
SSP coaching was pretty close to Aurangabad, Latur. We coached people very close by in Latur.
Very bad. You came so close and you didn't come to me.
So we didn't
Very-
go to Latur.
I went, no? I
You went.
the workshop. Yeah.
I have no clue what this webinar is about. I'm sure Prof will guide us through it. At least me.
So you are in the webinar. If you know what is there, why should you be there?
No, but what is it?
Odd, Priya.
What can I expect out of it? I have.
Even Nidhi does not know what is there in the webinar. She was asking me. I said, no, join.
It's a late
Okay, it
Just to
is.
share with Nidhi, I have worked under Prof during the times when I was.
With Prof.
No, I've always under. Learned a lot from him when I was doing my MBA.
Okay.
We were working in an organization which he had set up then.
That national HRD, that one? No.
No, after that, it was called the Bairaju Foundation.
Oh, okay, by Raju Foundation. Okay, you worked
I
there.
had not set it up. Raju set it up.
You were the brainchild of the entire thing.
No. Hmm.
Learned a lot of
Okay,
thinking
I
process.
think we'll start in a minute. It's already 10 minutes, 9 minutes past. Whoever is there is whoever is there.
Elena is also here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually Alina's phones or whatever logo camera creates problems. Oh, there you are.
Hi, sir. Hi, all.
Hey.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. How
Hi,
are you all?
Elena. Very well. Good to see you.
Okay,
Good to see
we
you,
are going
ma'am.
to start.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, Srini, good to see you. Can you just show your face? There you are. Who else is there? Mr. Sashidhar Pounduri. Okay, I'm going to start the webinar. First of all, thank you each and every one of you for agreeing to be in this webinar. It's a short one, scheduled for 45 minutes. And I am conducting this webinar from California. It's quite cold here, even though I am inside a room which is a heater on. The temperature shows 11 degrees Celsius. Okay, let's begin. Nidhi, can you share the screen? So what I'll do is maybe you can go to the full screen mode. And there are some, Nidhi, you must have noticed that there is some customer animation. So I'll only say enter, then you press enter. Okay. So what I'll do is to go through a few contents of a few slides, and then if you have some questions, you can ask. In between, if you have some questions, you can don't divert your attention to putting it in the chat because I want your full attention here. But if you have some questions, please note down somewhere and you can ask those questions at the end. Or at the end, I'll give you some time, then you can put your questions, comments, etc. in the chat. Okay. Right now, my invitation to you is to be completely attentive on this seminar, what I'm going to say. Okay. I've deliberately called it Becoming the Worthiest. And I'm going to present to you a view of mine which goes against the normal way of thinking. That's why we call it radical. Enter. Nidhi? Okay, let's begin with this. Maybe some of you can share this, two or three of you. Whoever wants to go first, you can do that. Don't wait for others to start. So answer these three questions. Can you all see the slide on the screen? Let me check that up. Okay. So go ahead, answer quickly. Just to start off thinking.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Answer all the
Do
three
you,
together.
do you want to be
Short.
the worthiest? Yes. In what aspects? In aspects that I can get available to the resources to create what I want to create.
Okay. Thank you. Why?
Because the creation that I have in mind needs a lot of resources.
Needs?
A lot of resources
Okay.
of different kinds.
Okay. Thank you. Can we have one or two more answering these questions? I know this questions came as a surprise to you. Not prepared for it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I want to be worthiest for myself. Take care of my own needs. Why? That's where I think I'm good to take care of others' needs.
Okay. One more. Lata and Yogita. Is Mr. Sashidhar already there or is this?
Yeah, looks like he's dropped.
Okay.
Unless
No, I'm
he's
here.
there. Is he there? Okay, he's just not showing in the window. That's all, because the window is small. Yeah, I would say yes also. But I would say I want to be worthy. I'm not sure about worthiest. I would say worthiest if there is another set of people who are also maybe competing for the same thing. And let's say
Yeah.
I'm interviewing for a position, then I want to be the worthiest. If not,
Mm.
being worthy is, I guess, of whatever I have in my life and whatever I personally aspire for.
Yeah. Got that. Let's move. Enter. Okay. So what do we mean by worthy? This is from the dictionary. Worthy means you are good enough for something or to have something. That's the meaning of worthy. Enter. So normally, usually we have certain criteria, could be one or more of these, to say that you're worthy. You can go through the list there. Demographics, your demography, like age, gender, blah, blah, blah. Your education, qualifications, the kind of roles you have performed, the knowledge that you have. So when I go through all these things, keep in mind what you want to be the worthiest about or worthy about. Okay. So keep relating these to that. Yeah, and the kind of skills you have, your attitudes, your values, your behaviors, actions, etc., and also achievements. I put that achievements separately. Enter, because those other things, etc., are going to be some kind of inputs for your achievements. And we are not talking about all these things as criteria just like that, but in some way we do something called a track record of it. It's not enough if you are in a role or you're moved to one role from another role once in the last 5 years, but have you been consistently doing? The track record talks about being consistent, including in your achievements. So this is what normally we have as being worthy. Okay. And this seminar is not about becoming worthy. It's about becoming the worthiest. The minute we say worthiest, as Lata remarked, we are talking about more than two people. Worthy, only 1. Worthier, 2. Worthiest, 3. At least. Okay? This pure English grammar, superlative degree. Okay. Now, why should you be the worthiest in anything you want to be? Why? Any answers? All of us can be worthy. Not a big deal. Why should we think about being the worthiest? That's because I don't like this very much, but there is always a competition in everything we are up to. Everything, whether we like it or not, whether we want to face it or not, competition is there. If you have to be the worthiest to get the resources, there are people competing for those resources. If you want to be worthy for yourself, there are competitors for that also. There are people who are taking you away from yourself. I don't know what I don't remember what Lata said she wants to be worthy about. But there also, everything has competition. You're talking about your careers, you're talking about your passion, whatever you want to be the worthiest in, there is competition. We're talking about the worthiest. Enter. So the big question is all these criteria which were mentioned earlier to be worthy, are these enough to become the worthiest? That's a big question. So in this next few minutes, I'll answer that question. The answer to this question is obviously no, otherwise we don't need the seminar. Enter. So what is that radical view? For you to become the worthiest, there are 3 requirements. There could be more, but I could think of these 3. You need to demonstrate that you're credible. Your credibility is one of those. Number 2, are you daring? Demonstrate that you're daring, you're courageous. What do each one of them mean? I'll go through the next few slides. And third, you demonstrate that you are producing measurable results. What do these mean? Enter. Credibility. How do you demonstrate credibility? By giving a word and keeping your word. Very simple. That's it. The word could be small, big, doesn't matter. And I've made that other part of it, that keep your word, in caps, because that is a big deal. Giving a word is very, very simple. We give hundreds and hundreds of words every day. For instance, today, your mail or whatever you got, the messages would have said, or when you logged in, it would have said that the meeting will automatically start in 15 minutes, right? And it did not. I committed that I'll start this webinar at 8 p.m. IST. I did not. Right? I gave a word, we gave a word, or I gave a word, and I did not keep it. Now, what happens to my being the worthiest? I'm no longer the worthiest, already gone. Now, your word can be about actions you do or about the results you will produce. The word, so you can say, I will do this. I will start this webinar at this time. I will pursue this particular source, whatever. So you're talking about actions which all have, the word about actions will have verbs. The word about results is a goal. When you set a goal, you're giving a word that I will achieve this goal. That's your word, which is about the result. Keeping that word is the big deal. And we have a simple metric, and there are multiple the metric percentage of words kept. is a very simple metric. How many words did you give in a given period of time, or whatever you can remember, and how many of them did you keep? Okay, that is your credibility quotient, as we call it. There are multiple credibility quotient, but I just given you the overview of this. So for you to demonstrate credibility, you have to give words about either actions or results or both, and keep your word. And how do you measure your level of credibility? By this credibility quotient, which is a percentage of words you kept, which means that you need to keep a record of the words also which you give. Okay, enter. Demonstrating daring. How do you show that you're daring? Is very critical. Do you take up initiatives, which I call new initiatives, which means initiatives which others don't dare to take? They are scared of taking up. They may not say that they are scared, but the minute say, okay, I'm not sure, I don't think so, I don't want to, I'll think about it, etc., 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 you must know that they are scared. The scare may be very serious panic, or it could be a very mild form like a disinterest. Are you taking up new initiatives in your life, or in that matter, which you want to be the worthiest about? For example, is Srini taking up something daring about him being worthiest to himself? Right. Second is, are you producing super productivity? Are you producing super efficiency? Let me distinguish these two. For both productivity and efficiency, the formula which I know is output divided by input. Okay. Output is the result which you get. Input is all those things which you put in terms of time, money, blah, blah, blah. Now, productivity is where you keep the input constant and you vary that output. So more and more output for the same level of input, that's called productivity. You're increasing the productivity or changing the productivity. What do you mean by super? I'll come to in the next one. On the other hand, for super efficiency, when we focus on efficiency, the formula is the same. Only thing is, for a given output, the O output being constant, in what less amount of input can you get that done, get that output? How cheaper can you get that output? How faster you can get the output, etc., etc. Okay. So these are the words about how do you demonstrate taking up new initiatives. Keep in mind, we are again continuously going to combine credibility, daring, and results. Okay, enter. So what do we mean by this? For you to be credible, it's not simply the words you give, but give and keep the words about these three. Not that I'll give a word that, okay, I will jump 1 foot and the high jump, and you succeed in it. That is not super, that is not efficient, that's no initiative. We're talking about something much bigger than that. So your credibility has to be demonstrated in something which is daring. And what is daring? These three. Enter. What do we mean by super? In terms of performance, in terms of results, we are talking about, something which is a business as usual result, which is normally what we can achieve. We are 100% sure of achieving that I'll achieve. Slightly more than that is stretch. And there is something called impossible. Whatever I do, I can't do beyond this. That's impossible. Anything more than super, stretch, and less than impossible is super, both in terms of goal and in terms of results. So when we talk about super productivity or super efficiency, keep this in mind, that the goal, the word you give needs to be in that range of stretch to impossible, anywhere in that range, and your results must be in that range. Okay? Our experience shows that people set goals which are super goals, One, I can go on giving example, but I don't want to do that. Only one example. A doctor said he can increase the hemoglobin level of 1,000 tribal women in 3 months. Normally, that's his business as usual goal. And his super goal was 4,000 women, 4 times that, daring, and that too in a tribal district, right? He was talking about high productivity. 4,000 pregnant women's hemoglobin levels to go up by 2 gram percentage. That was the super goal. And what he actually achieved was, and his impossible was 5,000. What he actually got done was 6,350. Am I correct, Nidhi? Correct me if I'm wrong with the numbers. 6,350. So he actually achieved beyond what he thought was impossible at that time. So this is the kind of words you need to keep. You need to demonstrate credibility in something which is super productivity, super efficiency, or new initiatives. Eta. How do you demonstrate producing measurable results? Right? So first of all, what I have not put here is set a super goal. Give that word. But there are 4 other things you need to do. Anybody wants more of this, we can go on. So we set an action plan, all right, that's not a big deal. We know that when we set a goal, we need to have an action plan. What we don't realize is that that action plan needs to be, I'm not saying can be, needs to be rolling, which means dynamic. You can't set one action plan at the beginning of as soon as you set your goal and expect to follow that action plan to the T and achieve your super or new initiatives. No, you can't keep the word like that. For you to make yourself credible with daring initiatives, daring projects in your life, the action plan needs to be a dynamic. It cannot remain constant. Second is you need to execute your plan, including the rolling action plan, with a ruthless focus on achieving the goal, not doing that action plan. Who cares about action plans? If the plans, even if they are rolling, if they are not going to achieve your goal, daring new initiatives or super productivity or super efficiency, no big deal. Execute your action plans, change the action plans if necessary, with a ruthless focus on achieving your goal, your word. Keep reviewing periodically. Normally we do reviews it's called review, no? So we review, which is do post-mortem. And we all know what happens when we do post-mortem. So in my experience of reviews, including reviews which I do when I coach, it's all about the past. There's hardly any time for moving to think about the future. Okay, now that I'm doing it. And the reviews also tend to be bloodshed events. Maybe I'll come up with another webinar on converting a bloodshed review to a green review, right? We'll come to that. So how do you conduct reviews which devote a huge percentage of the time of the review process meeting about future? What's now what? Okay, whatever has happened. We learn the lessons from it quickly, but then spend time on looking at now what else? And finally, in the process, if you are giving your word about something which is daring, which you know that you do not know how to achieve that, then you are bound to face obstacles. So overcome those obstacles without changing the goal, without changing the word. Oftentimes, when to overcome obstacles, we reduce our goals. In other words, we don't keep the original word. We keep changing your word to lesser and lesser intensive, and then that's not the way to overcome obstacles. When you say overcome obstacles, we are saying overcome the obstacles so that you can keep your original word. Okay, enter. So that's what stops you. What will stop you from being the worthiest? These three. There are some voices, there are some dogmas, and there is some clutter. Let me look at each one of them quickly. Enter. When we say voices, these are self-talk. You have your own talk within yourself. And this talk could be judgment. These are instantaneous, like reflex actions. Immediate judgments. Can't be done, can be done, good, bad, worthy, not worthy, etc., etc. Then there are these cynicism. Nobody can do this. Why are you not taking up this initiative? Difficult. Nobody on planet Earth can do it. Doubts, voice of doubt. The doubt says, not nobody can do it. I don't know if somebody else can do it or not. I can't do it. That's one of the another stop. The voice of suspicion is about very specific others. The voice of cynicism is about everybody on planet Earth. The voice of doubt is about yourself, and the voice of suspicion is about these specific people, him, her, they, very specific with names. And finally, there's a big stuff, particularly amongst adults, which is the voice of fear. I'm afraid of something. If I do this, I'm afraid that this will happen, and therefore I don't want to do it. So you don't give big words, you don't give daring words, and you slip on keeping those daring words because of these 5 voices. Enter. And then there are these dogmas. Literally, dogma means very strongly held belief. In practice, it is language in our heads and in our words as should statements or should not statements. I should do this, I should not do this. You should do this, you should not do this. It should be this way, it should not be this way. These are all statements which show that there are dogmas, dogmatic statements as we call them. I'm not saying dogmas are bad or wrong. There are these dogmatic statements. Some of these dogmas are codified, they are written down in laws, in scriptures, in your contracts, and so on, so forth, rules, regulations. And there are a whole lot of non-codified hand-me-downs over a period of time. And mind you, a huge number of these dogmas we create for ourselves. It is not codified anywhere. They are not hand-me-downs. Nobody has told us to do this or should be done or should not be done. But over a period of time, as we age, and worse, when we become experts, we create our own dogmas. Okay? So that's the second kind of a block which will block you from daring for being credible on daring words. Enter. And there are these clutters in our heads. That's a mental clutter. There's also physical clutter, things lying around, including your mailbox if you wish. Including if you are into social media like Insta, blah, 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 your pages is full of those. And there's a physical clutter all that time about information. There's a physical clutter which is noise, right? So these are all these physical clutters are those things which are around you, which can be sensed through one or more of your senses. So you pass through a junk yard, then there is a physical clutter of bad smell, right? So, or even it could be a good smell and that distracts your attention. So that those are all physical clutters. Then there are mental clutters, confusion, the way you say that I'm not sure what to do, I'm confused. There are too many things in my head. I can't prioritize. These are all some expressions of mental clutter. Okay. Now the point here is of these two interact. Sometimes mental clutter creates physical clutter creates mental clutter. That is another block. So clutter is not so is of two types, physical and mental, and they normally interact, one causing the other. We do not know which causes what. It cannot be scientifically said that way. And when you say it's a clutter, it's not simply things lying in chaotic manner, crowded, but those, if it removes your attention, the ruthless focus on achieving your super goal, right? Producing, being credible about that daring word which you gave, then we call it a clutter. If it comes in the way of that, if something is a clutter which distracts your attention from what needs to be attended to, these would be the blocks. So I'm cautioning you that for you to become the worthiest, you need to be, along with all those other worthy criteria, normal worthy criteria, you need to demonstrate credibility, you need to demonstrate that you're daring, and you need to demonstrate that you're producing measurable results. I explained those things earlier. And in what will come in the way of that. In other words, these would be the blocks for you to become the worthiest. That's where I want to stop my seminar content speaking, open to discussions, open to questions, and open to your journey to become the worthiest. As far as I can remember in my 67 years, this must be the shortest speech I ever gave. Okay. Most welcome to interact with all of you. Go ahead, please. Now, if you want to put something in the chat, you can do that. I told you I'll give you time to put your questions, your comments. That's my grandson tapping on the door. If I don't know if we can hear it.
I have a question, Prof.
Yes.
Thank you. This was very concise, and I'm sure there's a lot of thought process that has gone into making it, giving us the juice of the entire thought process. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I get the pointers, and I got, I got the essence of what you wanted to convey. I want to talk of a personal challenge that I have in, in going through this. So my
Thank you
personal
for that.
challenge is, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I might not have followed all these steps to the T, but through experience, one personal challenge that I have is when we sit for a review of what has happened and where I have reached. And when reality hits, it is very, that's when all that starts coming in. The judgment, suspicion, doubt.
Clutter, dogma.
Yeah, of course, clutter. Of course, clutter. Dogma, yes, dogma in terms of where I should have reached. That should is also a dogma, yes, I get that. But then that takes away my rational. That slips me into mental and emotional the slide.
Yeah.
So the rational is still working. And I, being a therapist myself, I know that how that slip happens, but that's little challenging. I would want to know your perspective. How is it that a person, or I can hold myself, I can't say a person, how can I hold myself to stand in my rational when it is quite challenging?
Is there only one rationality?
No, it is not, because a review means that.
Yeah. So you shift your rationality to what works. What will come in the way there, Priya, are dogmas.
Okay.
And if I can outguess you, if I
Hmm.
may, correct me if I'm wrong, I may be wrong. Sometimes these dogmas come from the subject matter, the domain which we subscribe to, which we follow.
Okay. Not always,
I'm
but yeah.
conscious of it in my I'm conscious of it in my case, right?
Okay.
For instance, I say, okay, as a webinarist, I need to start the webinar at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. IST,
Hmm.
right? Or I should do it this way. When I go to a class, I should be prepared thoroughly. Those are all dogmas about my domain, my profession, whatever you call it, right? The more serious and the more dear that profession is to you, the subject matter is to you, etc., etc. And I'm not doubting any of those things, okay? That's not the point.
Yeah, I
But
get that.
those, uh, it should be done this way is what a profession or a domain or a subject or whatever, right? I'll call it a profession background.
Hmm.
That will dictate,
Hmm.
okay? And that becomes the rationale which sometimes comes in the way.
Hmm.
So bottom line is, they said yes. Essentially, you're saying that rational thinking doesn't work, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. So I'm
Yes.
asking this question: is there only one rationale?
Of course, logically, I'll say the answer is no.
Yeah. Then look for the other ones. Now, when I say dogmas, if some dogmas are coming in the way of you becoming the worthiest,
Hmm.
drop the dogma for that instance.
That's possible.
Okay?
Yes.
But here is a caution. When you drop the dogma in that instance, for that situation, that is very important. For that situation only, you're dropping it.
Right.
When you drop it, ensure that you don't do something illegal, immoral, or unethical.
Which will question your credibility going there again. Okay.
Credibility is not about honesty. Yeah, okay. We're not
In a
getting
way.
into the moral part of credibility. I'm talking about credibility is in demonstrating that you're keeping your word. Let's not go to credibility from the moral standpoint. But I'm saying when you're dropping any of those professional dogmas, should do this way, should not do this way. When you drop it for that instance, ensure that you're not doing something which is unethical, immoral, or illegal. That's all.
Makes sense.
Thank you. Did it give you
Thank you.
some access to take it forward, what were you are stuck with?
Yeah.
If you want,
I'll have to
you
live
can
it.
always, yeah, you can always set up a call with me
Yes.
and set up a call immediately when you face that kind of a situation, so that I can see how I can support you. Because then we have to get to the specific of that situation, right?
Hmm.
Now your question was general, my answer was general, but the answer is this: there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one rationale.
Yes, but this worked. This helped.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Yeah, two things, Balaji. This session was good, first of all. And when you said dogmas, of course, like as you said, I should start on time and all that. That dogmas are okay, right? You mean to say only what stops us,
Hmm.
right? Have I understood this correctly?
Yes,
Okay. And one
all
more.
those
Hmm.
voices, dogmas, and yeah, voices and dogmas in particular have their own functional utility. That's why they are there. Okay. But you're talking about when they come in the way of you becoming the worthiest.
Okay.
Yes, Niyavita, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the other thing is review for the future. There I'm not very clear how you're saying it is for future. Like for me, review is always what I've done till date. So
Why
when
do
I
you want
say
to do that? Okay, having done that, what I have done till date, now what? Why are you
the
doing it?
goal till where
Yeah,
I've
what?
reached, and
Yeah,
how much is left. So
whatever. That is what you review.
yeah.
But why do you want to do that? You know it, no?
Hmm.
But why do you want to get into that review at all about the past? Why?
Like how much more to go?
That is about the future.
Okay.
Focus on that more
Hmm.
than dwelling in the past too much.
Okay.
For instance, in my experience, if there is a review meeting for let's say an hour,
Hmm.
almost 50 minutes are spent on the past.
Hmm.
What has happened so far? Why have we not achieved more? What has been coming in the way? What are all the issues which you have been facing? What have been the problems so far? And very quickly, these questions go to who all should be blamed.
Hmm.
50 minutes are spent on this. That's toxic environment of the review, which does not give you the energy in the next 5 minutes to talk about now what.
But identifying like what stopped me comes from reviewing the past, right?
Sure, absolutely. No doubts about it.
Hmm.
But don't get stuck there. Now you say,
Okay.
okay, now that I've identified what is coming in my way, what should I do about it in the future? Set a rolling action plan. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Spend more time of what you normally call review,
Hmm.
more effort, more energy, more time on thinking about the future. Now what? That's my point. That is what I mean by review for the future.
Got it. Thank you.
People who have done CIP know I'm using the word review here, but you know it as foreview.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay.
There will be people in this webinar who don't know about CIP framework. So if I introduce the word foreview for the future, I'll spend 5 minutes explaining that. That's why I continue to call it review for this seminar.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We review the past. What I'm saying, for you to become the worthiest and access to that is reviewing for the future. You review the past for the future. Thank you, Niyogita.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Professor, I had something to say. I was just
Sure.
thinking about dogmas, right? Sometimes I feel like personally, if you're trying to do something radical, there might be some things that are dogmas, and you may not even realize that that's coming in the way because that's the way
Mm.
you've always been doing things.
Mm.
And I feel like maybe if you're doing something really daring and radical, it's a good idea to maybe question everything. And maybe some things are, yeah, this is to be done this way. But if you don't question, I feel like, at least for me, I might miss out on some things that are dogmas that are actually blockers and I may not even know it.
Yes, absolutely true. Those are the holy cows which we should question all that time,
Yeah, the holy cows.
including the dogma of I should be the worthiest, which is what the seminar is built on, right? In a way.
Yeah.
But don't go back to, well, I don't want to be the worthiest, I want to be only worthy. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Sashidhar. Hey, do you want to ask? Mr. Sashidhar, if you want to say something, please unmute your phone.
Yeah.
Yes. Your microphone is muted. It went into mute again.
Okay. I'm audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I was saying thanks for the webinar and all. So it took me to the days where you and Hala sir were giving speeches on CIP framework, and it took me to that resort where we spent 3 days and all.
Oh, where are you from,
So,
Sashidhar, by the way? Oh, you know that.
so no, I'm from Hyderabad, but I took the CIP in Bangalore. There was a resort
Yes.
kind of place where,
Yes.
so it's almost 6 years ago. So from Saskin, I'm from Saskin basically.
Okay. Srishti,
So,
Adventure
yeah.
Camp.
Yes.
Okay.
So in that camp, so all the images start, coming back, and the book
Oh,
you gave
nice.
for the CIP, I mean, half of the slides I'm able to recollect. So I mean, the
Wonderful.
what to do, the principles are very clear, but the implementation part, how to do, sometimes it misses out. And when I attended CIP, the memories were fresh for a month or two. I was cautiously doing everything, but how do these make these imprints subconsciously, and act that for you and review, and letting go, making things reset, or these, I mean, that sometimes I feel I go off track. So how to make this effortless? I mean, how to view from a plane above and see what I'm doing myself?
Okay, thanks for that question. Wonderful question. First is that you can send me your, just go keep your phone, keep your video on so that I can talk to you, no, instead
Yeah.
of talking to some unknown face. First of all, thanks a lot for coming on this webinar, Sashidhar, after so many years. Nice to see you. Uh, First, actions are the following. Only actions produce results. You must know that.
Yes.
Send me your email address. I will send you the latest version of the book which you mentioned, which we call the handbook.
Okay.
The latest version. Number one. Number two, how to make it subconscious is by having each and every syllable in that book a part of you. I tell my co-coaches like Lata, Nidhi, now Neogita is also joined us as coach, going to join us as coach. I tell them you have to have every comma, every syllable of that at your tongue tips when you coach. That is the level of internalization you need to have. It's not going to be easy. You have to practice. Pick up something from that book, practice. That you said half of those slides came to your mind, right? So get those deeper. So that's a way to do it. Third, whenever you want, just set up a call and call with me, and it will be my pleasure to coach you. Remember the fundamental principles of that. Only actions produce results. Where are you now, Sashidhar, by the way? Or still with Saskin?
No, I have rejoined Saskin a couple of days ago.
Days ago. Okay.
Yeah. So I moved
Where
out of
did you?
Saskin. Yeah, I moved out of
Well, where?
Saskin into Qualcomm, and again I came back
Okay.
just a
Okay.
couple of days ago. Bangalore. I'm now in Bangalore.
Okay. Wonderful. Welcome back to Saskin.
Thank you.
Anybody else? So did it answer your question, by the way?
Yes, sir. I mean, it answered my question.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to add, I've been a person who was trying to be in the present, a lot of things, and but on the other side, right, full view, not looking at the future. Sometimes I'm learning, so that's something I've not been doing, even attending after a few things. So good reminder. Thanks, Professor
Yeah.
Balaji.
You're welcome. So a quick observation from what you said, not that you asked for an observation, it comes to my mind, right? Past is important to review because we want to learn lessons from it. The present we want to be present to, because we need to know where we are in our journey to be the worthiest. But unfortunately, we get stuck in this for a long time. And when I say stuck, I'm not simply talking about spending more time. We dwell on this so much that we lose energy, power to think of the future. You can't do anything about the past. And even as I'm saying the word present, the present is over. The present is so momentary. What is left for us is only the future.
Very true.
Thanks, Srini, for observing that.
And the other thing to also just say is, when you said worthiest, you have to first feel worthiest for yourself. Then only you can be worthy for others. And
Yeah.
if you
So
don't
the
feel
minute,
worthiest for yourself, right? Even though you try to do worthy things for others, maybe you don't reach
okay,
that outcome.
now maybe I'm going to sound a bit philosophical now. I said the word yes, which means there must be at least two others,
Yeah, correct.
right? So for you to become the worthiest to yourself, you have to identify who are the two other yous who's competing.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sounding philosophical. And that's what it is. Because it's very nice to keep saying that I want to be the worthiest to myself. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly a valid answer. Then you have to search for who are those at least two others, two other me's, which is competing to be the worthiest. There must be at least two other yous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I say two other yous, I'm not simply talking about your role like a father, this consultant, this trainer, or executive, brother, sister. Not only that, maybe that also. There is something else about the two